How's it going, everybody? It's cold. Really cold.
Very cold.
Really cold.
It's like 38 degrees, but hey, the sun's shining, but not for long because there's a big mountain over there. It's gonna
Go down.
because that's what the sun does.
That's what the sun does these days.
Well, me and Ben are up here fishing in North Carolina. Again. Nothing new there. We're on a delayed harvest today, but this delayed harvest also has a healthy population of wild trout. Mostly rainbows, but there's some nice browns in here. And the target species today is whatever we can catch, but we got stocker brown brook and rainbow and wild rainbow and brown trout that we're hoping to catch. And I'm going to start out throwing a peach egg and a little perdigon, which is tangled up around my rod there. That's great.
Nice.
Ben, what you starting with?
And then I've just got a little 3/0 Frenchie, size 18, and then a size 20 Fretz fly, copper bead Fretz fly. 2.5 beat on that. I'm starting off with 7X.
Yeah.
I think you're starting off with the same.
I'm starting off with 7X too. I'm still running the Hannock, not cider, but Hannock fluorocarbon. But I'm almost out, so I'll probably end up switching to
I
trout
ran out
hunter.
this morning, so I'm back to trout hunter.
Yeah, he started out with trout hunter. He took off about that much and ran out. So, but we'll see what we can do, and let's go slay some fish.
Let's try to do it.
Nice little fish. Oh. He wants to come over this way. Nice little stalker. Ate the egg. Oh, he angry. Not a bad one though. Good start. Couple casts into it and really soft take. Oh, hey, chill. There you go. Yeah, we'll let him go. So a couple things we're going to talk about today is cider angles, and this can apply to shallow and deep water, how we will transition from fishing pocket water to a deeper riffle or a run without really changing flies. And a lot of that's got to do with the angle of your cider. And also how to set the hook depending on those angles, because you don't always want to set straight up and you don't always want to dip it down. So say like I make a cast right here, my cider is going to be a fairly mid angle. It's not going to be super low because this pocket's kind of deep, but it's not going to be like straight up and down. So I'm going to have it tilted just a little bit, and if say a fish eats it right there, I'm going to set the hook the same direction, or rather opposite the direction, but it's going to be the same angle that the cider's in the water. I'm not going to take this drift, say a fish eats it right there, and dip it down and then come up, because that will create slack in the rig. It'll allow the fish to spit that fly out, and you'll miss a lot of fish doing that. And I see a lot of people do this too. They'll make a cast, they go straight down, they do this, they think they're in contact, and what really happened right there, your flies sink really fast, you get hung up on the bottom, you think you have a fish, and then you set the hook, it goes straight up in the tree. So try to keep that hook set opposite of what the cider's doing. So if it's right here, I'm going to set the hook a little farther up. If I'm in shallower water, say I'm fishing water like this, I'm going to keep everything really low, and I'm going to set the hook lower. That way so my hook sets faster and you connect with those fish quicker.
Trying to tangle up my stuff. Quit. Come on now. Oh, nice. Doing that death roll. Pretty little wild rainbow tangled up all my stuff. That death roll on me. Let's let him go, I guess. Dear Lord. Look at this. Nice! Yeah! I mean, messed up.
is a power line above me, so I'm a little cautious about when I set the hook, not setting it too much so I don't go straight to the power line. There's a fish. Hey, got lucky. They come off, but I still got them in the net. Now I got the fly line wrapped around the net, but another nice fish. Good chunky one. See if he'll cooperate with me. There we go. So I had a question. I've actually had this question quite a bit over the years, but it was on one of our videos from a week or so ago when we fished the tailwater about why I use such a big net for small fish. And the reason why is for what you just saw. I was trying to get that fish up. I'm able to leave that fish in the water while he's flopping around while I'm trying to get my hands on him. I see so many times people have these little tiny nets. They're like this shallow and they got them under their arm and the fish is flopping around, and you wonder why you go out and you see dead fish floating around. That's probably why, is the people that are leaving those fish out of the water for 30-45 seconds. This net, I'm able to leave that fish in the water instead of having to kneel down or get in shallow water or whatever. I'm able to stand where I'm at, keep that fish in the water, keep that fish safe, and it just helps them out, helps me out. They don't tangle up your stuff as much. It just makes everything easier. So that's why I use a bigger net, and I'm also a competitive fisherman. It just helps for reasons like what just happened. You get a fish up to the net, they do something, hook comes out, you still got a little bit of extra room to potentially land that fish and not lose it. So it helps in that sense too.
Yeah, it's stuck. Still fun though. A little Frenchy. There you go. Picking them up pretty quick. We're really liking that natural stuff today. Thought they might be keying in on that, maybe an egg or something like that. You can get them on the natural stuff. A lot of times they just tear it up like today. Nice. Nice. It's a wild fish. Heck yeah. So I actually switched up to a single fly because I was tired of these fish tangling up my stuff. Not necessarily just a technique thing, but you know, sometimes just like this fish is trying to tangle up the stuff right now with a single fly. Look at it. Oh my goodness. Let's take a break here and figure out why this fish is being so dumb. Okay, we finally got him untangled. Real pretty wild rainbow though. For sure. And dropped him. Nice! Alright, so we moved upstream just a little bit. Fishing this pretty nice little pocket water. If we can pull anything out, like I said before, I switched to a single nymph rig. I'm still on 7X. Just lengthened my tippet just a hair. Fishing just a 3/0 Frenchie. So see if we can pull some up out of these rocks. Let's do it. Just like that. Good for the rod, they say. Trees don't make things easy, for sure. It's like my first time netting a fish, seems like. Yeah. Brook trout. I saw yellow yellow, thought it was a brown trout.
So Ben fished the run that was just below this one. We're coming to this pocket water stretch. This river always has fish in the pockets, doesn't matter what time of the year it is, you can find them in here. I'm gonna fish around this tree that comes out. Hopefully I don't cast right into it because the way my luck's going today, that's not what happened. But we're gonna see if I can pull the fish out right there, and if not, see if I can work that pocket and the pocket on the far left. And hopefully one of those will produce a fish or two. Let's see what happens. Pulled a little wild rainbow right out beside the tree, right behind that rock. Chunky little feller.
Trout. Brook trout. A little stalker rainbow. We got little French slot. Frenchy, sorry. Something really cool that you can add to your arsenal to something to do. Like I said before, I'm fishing a single fly. There's a few different things you can do fishing a single fly. And one thing I like to do is use longer tippet. And most of the time it's lighter tippet, so I'll use a 7, 8, or even 9/8. And sometimes go down to 10. But what that helps, like the conditions we have today, is we have windy conditions, fish are eating real fast. That wind, that's where having that longer tippet comes in play. It'll help those flies sink a little bit faster, and you can lift that cider out of the water just a little higher or just a little lower depending on what run you're fishing, and you'll be able to take that bite. You take that bite a little better, and it just helps your fly sink. And most of the time I'm using a 3-0. Dropping tippet size, you can use all the way up to, a 2.5 or a 2.0. But knowing that is just a really good thing, just to know for fishing different rivers, changing conditions, but definitely something to play around with.
So the sun finally just crept over the hill, and when I say it was a temperature drop, Ben will probably agree. It was like 10 degrees immediately.
I agree.
There's a slight breeze. My hands are freezing. But there's a lot of fish that are sitting in this pocket right here. And like Ben touched on earlier with the breezy conditions, sometimes you might see us do something a little weird, like we might point our rod slightly upstream or something, just depending on the direction of the wind's blowing. And that is to fix our drift when the wind is blowing. And we're actually doing that so our flies will stay in the drift and the wind won't push the cider and pull our flies unnaturally. So we're actually correcting the drift. If you see us do anything weird like that, that's why. Nice little fish. Ben's not the only one to have problems with fishing two flies and fish tangling everything up. That fish, when I was going to net him, he did a weird spiral, wrapped up in my tippet, broke my tippet. Now I have to completely retie. But, you know, it happens. It happens to the best of us, and it happens to the worst of us, like Ben over here. You're welcome.
Thanks.
Nice little rainbow. Since the sun went down, been getting them to eat a silver-beaded waltz worm. A lot of times in this river I've done really well when the sun goes behind that mountain. Silver bead will pick up a lot of fish, and silver is kind of a color a lot of people overlook because they think it's too flashy, but when it gets shaded, and especially when you got a lot of stalkers in the area, and when it's cold for some reason, I always seem to do well on a silver bead. And so I just made the switch, and since I've done it, caught several fish off of it.
First off, it is really cold. Second off, there's a brook trout right here, and I'm about to whack it. Yeah. Another little stalker rainbow. Let's put them back in there so some redneck can catch them and eat them. Circle of life.
Oh, nice wild rainbow. Really pretty wild rainbow.
we kind of started easing up. We didn't really drive much today. A lot of times when we fish this river, we'll kind of pull hop. But today we kind of just stuck with it. Started low and just worked our way up. Pulled quite a few fish, a lot of stalkers, a bit of wild rainbows, and one wild brown. Caught one just a little bit downstream. Yeah.
Yeah, and it did get really cold once the sun dipped down. And I picked up a lot of fish on a silver-beaded waltz worm once that happened, and that's what most of my fish took later in the day. We ended up just kind of pocket water fishing, and we'd video a little bit, and then we'd fish some pockets and, you know, pick up a couple fish here and there on video. But all in all, it was a really good day. But when that sun got down, it dropped like 10 degrees, probably even more than that, honestly.
I mean,
really
the high up here today was 38, so anything colder than that starts to get a little bit uncomfortable.
Yeah, Ben was complaining most of the day.
No.
I want to go home.
I did not.
What are we going to eat tonight? Like, freaking...
Hell no, and I'm always hungry, okay, on that one. On that.
I mean, but still, we're trying to fish, and we get here, we're like 5 minutes into it. What are we eating now? Like, Ben, shut.
Just fish.
But, no, it was a fun day.
It was a lot of fun.
We honestly, we didn't really start fishing till about 1:30, and
Right.
I'm kind of glad we didn't get up here till then, because
Oh, it would have been brutal.
yeah,
this morning.
too much more of that cold, and I ain't ready for that yet. But it's coming. We're easing into winter time, so stay tuned for some more videos as we come up more in the winter time, and we switch to a lot of really small tippet, gin clear water, and you'll see us fishing some stuff here in the next weeks that are mostly wild trout streams are what we're going to kind of target.
They start munching.
Yeah, they start eating good. The crowds kind of thin out, and I honestly like it. Like, I really like wintertime fishing once they transition. Right now we're in a weird stage where it's cold fronts, then it'll warm up. It's liable to be in the 70s next week, and then it'll cool down again. But once they adjust to it and transitions into a steady season, winter season, then it
starts picking up.
it starts
really
picking up
good.
really good. So
You tend to start pulling some bigger fish a lot of times once you get settled in.
that's always nice. Actually, this run right here where we ended, I lost, or didn't really lose, but we were watching a big fish, drifted to it, put on an egg, drifted to it, sucked it in for some stupid reason. I didn't set the hook like a dummy, but we watched it, suck it in, spit it out, and I was like, wow, I'm an idiot. So
I've had that happen a little bit today. You ever just get that feeling you're in the middle of a drift. You get bitten, you just don't set the hook. Sometimes it happens.
well, when your fingers are barely working too, that doesn't help. So, but I guess now we got to figure out what we're going to eat because we never decided. So.
Mexican.
No.
Yes.
Okay, mate.
Mexican.